Hey all, it is Monday the 3rd of August. I am sat on the ground under a tree because it's really hot again. It's like 28 degrees today. I'm not really interested in sitting in the direct sun in my eyes for 20 to 30 minutes. That sounds like a bad idea. So I'm on the floor now. I've had a very busy but very productive week this past week. Um, the day after I did my previous devlog, I had the sort of final session of playtesting for the Spire that Sinks, which is AJ's adventure that is on track to be showcased for the first time at NGC, which should be fantastic. It's Norwich Games Convention in Norwich, in East Anglia, on August 22nd, I believe. So yeah, if anybody's in the area, we'll both be there peddling that book amongst all of our other books. But yeah, the playtest went very well. Big thanks to everybody who took part. Extra big thanks as well to Pablo DePena, who gave some really, really useful feedback. There's a lot of like really good, like actionable stuff in there. Like it was very, very helpful. Um, and yeah, like it was a great time. Like, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, there's like a few little tweaks to make to the adventure, and then a final, like I'm gonna do like a final like proofing pass on it, and then there's a couple more pieces of art to finish. I think the cover needs shading and some lighting stuff done on it, and then there's a couple of interior pieces I think that are like there's like one that hasn't started yet, and then there's one more that's like basically finished, I believe. Either way, it's very, very nearly finished. So yeah, that is going great. Um, I also released the Hyperborean Colossus on Friday. I'm gonna get hit by one of these little twizzly things in a minute. I can hear them sort of falling around me. 100% one of them is gonna hit me because it's, as far as I can tell, they're just up there, like this tree right behind me. I think it's a sycamore. I think like one of these things where they spin around. Either way, the where the fuck was I? The Hyperborean Colossus. So yeah, that I talked a lot about that and the framing of my one-page adventures last week and how I kind of wasn't really happy with them. They were feeling way too gimmicky. They were feeling like they were built to fulfill a premise more so than they are built to fulfill being a good adventure. And I think the Hyperborean Colossus is a cool adventure. I like it. I like the stuff that's in it. I think it's interesting. It's got some fun imagery going on in it. I like all of those things, but I want to try. I'm much like I want to stop writing adventures where the problem is wizard did thing. I want to stop writing adventures, or so many adventures that are, concept first, you know? And I think I posted about this the other day. Literally, I think the same day I released the devlog, or maybe the day after, I did or a few days. It was last week, quite recently. I sat down and I opened up the Can 2E Warden's Guide, which has a really good dungeon and just like region design procedures. Like if there's from having spent the last sort of like 4 months like listening to the back catalogue of Between Two Kansas, there's one thing I understand about your high goal is that man understands and is obsessed with procedure, which I respect the hell out of. I'm very much in that kind of boat. I cracked open that book. Say cracked open. I opened up the electronic PDF of that book, and sat and rolled up a dungeon, and I fucking loved it. I really, really liked it. It immediately hit on. Like I didn't, keep every single roll. Like I rolled a few things and was like, that's kind of lame, and I re-rolled. Like that's it's not like it's not a rigid structure you have to follow, but it's like some guidelines. Like you can go through and have a tinker. You can use the options of inspiration. They're Sparks tables, I think is the term that people tend to use for them. And oh my god, I'm so happy with the adventure that I have. It doesn't have a name yet. It doesn't have a name yet, but its theme is monasteries and dreams and sacrifices. And because it's me, there's a big horrible monster at the end. And boy howdy, is it disgusting. I used a separate book for that. It is a Goodman Games book. I forget the name of it off the top of my head, but it is basically a giant book that lets you roll up weird monsters. When you hear about like how a lot of the original D&D monsters were created by Gygax and Co. having a bunch of like cheap plastic toys and going, yeah, that thing kind of looks like I think I'm going to call this guy a bullet. I think he digs underground and jumps at you and he has a beak. Like, yeah, like that kind of... If you want to make monsters that feel weird and fantastical, yet like very specifically Dungeons and Dragons, that book is really, really good. I will try and find I will put the name of it in the description because I forget it off the top of my head, but it's by Goodman Games, and I would presume it is for DCC. I've used it to create all kinds of like cool monsters for all kinds of different systems, because it's like, yeah, you can use the specific rules in the book, but for like, oh, it has this many extra hit dice when you roll this property, but I often don't even use that section of the book, the special powers, like D200 table or whatever it is. Hell, I think it's a D200, I think. I don't even bother with that. Like, I just like go into, like I use it to like, what does this monster look like? A big Sparks table. Like, okay, it's a bipedal, and it looks like a combination between an avian and some kind of like fish. Like, okay, I can work with this. Roll on the avian table. Okay, parrot. Roll on the fish table. Lamprey. That sounds horrible. Those aren't just two random examples I pulled out of my ass. That's in fact the thing that I rolled for the monster in the book. And I'm sure you can hazard a few guesses as to why, as to like how horrible that's going to look. Like, you know what lampreys are. You know what the imagery is. You probably do. And if you don't, just Google it. They're very unpleasant creatures. I'm sure they're chill in real life. I don't know. They're eels. Eels are kind of freaky. Eels are kind of fucked up. But in either case, I'm very, very, very happy. Am I always going to use this method for writing dungeons? Probably not. Am I going to be trying to use similar methods going forward? Yeah, the fuck I am. Like, oh my god, yes I am. I was like, I need to experiment with this, like it was very much like a process. I'm going to try some methods, and if it produces a dungeon that I really, really hate, I'll try it again. And if that doesn't work, I'm like, okay, right, this system doesn't really work for me. First try, dungeon, I love it. I love it. I have literally in the span of about an hour, I had a full dungeon, fully realized concept, every single room, bar one room. I was like, I know exactly what's in this room. I know what this room's for. I had like one room with the entrance room where it was like a sort of lore room, as it were. Like, some sort of dungeon heads might sort of describe them as like empty rooms, but in reality, they're rooms that teach you things about the dungeon, or have like special properties or things to interact with. And it was like the two sort of Sparks notes I got was like wheel and grow, and I was like, do with that? Like, they're in a monastery. Why is there a wheel here? Well, I've worked something out. Not set on it yet. Not 100%. I will probably tweak with it some more. But all the other rooms in the dungeon just kind of wrote themselves. It all just kind of knitted together perfectly, because it's the system creates a confined space to foster creativity, right? Like, it's restrictions breed creativity, and the restrictions of giving yourself some keywords to work with can help you just immediately like spark off ideas. I also find generally that I have much better ideas in the moment than I do when I sit down and just go, like that kind of like when you do that, well, for me at least, I find that I'm often kind of forcing myself to come up with something rather than allowing something to come to me. Sometimes I sit down to think of stuff and something comes to me, but oftentimes I sit down to think about things and I spend 5 minutes going, and then I think of something and I go, well, that's the thing because that's the thing I thought of that I should do, which is, I mean, it like sometimes that's the first thing I think of, when I'm like actively thinking rather than just like, vibing out or whatever with whatever I'm doing. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes what I come up with, the first thing I come up with is actually good. Most of the time, it's kind of not. Like, it's kind of whatever. But like, I'm looking at this adventure, and I'm like, it's I like it so much that had I the time, I would almost invariably like if I didn't have other stuff in the pipeline, I would be releasing this like as a full adventure because I love the concept so much. I flesh it out with some more rooms, some more weird stuff. 100%. I think it's such a sick concept. I really, really like this, and I'm going to use this method again probably next month as well. And this may also allow me to get ahead of myself as well. Like I was talking about, how it was like, oh, I'm so far behind. I was down to 2 days before the Hyperborean Colossus came out where I did the map. Admittedly, I think I finished the adventure on the Monday and I was releasing on the Friday, so it's not that big. I could have made the map on the day. Like I absolutely could have done. I just decided I didn't want to. Yeah, like it's this method, hopefully at least, will allow me to sort of catch back up to get this month's one-page adventure done. I mean, hopefully, like I'm away Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like this week. So like next week, I'm probably not going to have a lot to talk about. But well, maybe anyway. I've got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to do stuff, but we'll see. I don't know. But I'm hoping that I'll be able to like write. In that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'll be able to write a good chunk of this adventure. Assuming other stuff doesn't come up, which would be great. Like I'm really excited about that. I have some game prep to do for the following week, but I have also that following week to make that prep. That's a lie. I have a game on Monday or I might have a game a week from today that I do need to do. So I'm potentially playing Cape again next week. So I will have to prepare that this weekend as well, on the off chance that we do end up playing on the Monday. There's a chance we won't, because I think we're probably going to. There's some scheduling stuff. My sister is moving house, so or my sister and her partner are moving house, more specifically. Both of whom are in the game. But yeah, I'm unbelievably happy with this adventure. It needs a name. I haven't come up with one yet. I was kind of brainstorming some stuff. I'm like, kind of thinking like, it's going to be something dream related. I've got a few points of inspiration there for things. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with it. I've talked a bit about the Spire that sinks. Also this past week, I realized that given my roadmap, I have an adventure that I want to release in October. And you might think that's impossible. You've not talked about it, writing an adventure. That's the thing, I wrote it last year. I wrote it in like December of last year and realized I kind of don't want to release this right now. I want to sit on it for a while and release it in... Oh no, I think I wrote it in like October of last year and then said, no, I need to release this for Halloween. And it was already Halloween. Halloween had been gone by the time I released it. It is a viscerally horrible horror adventure. It is a... And I mean, like, horrible in the sense of... Ugh. Sorry. I was trying to, like, ward it off. Wasn't happening. I can't... Like, the thing you do, you ward off a sneeze, you put your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You can't talk when you do that, I realised. I tried to do it, and I was like, oh, I have to keep talking. And it's, unfortunate. But, yeah, it is a very graphic adventure. It's very extreme in terms of its content. In terms of violence, there's not anything further. Um, it's very extreme violence against people, like against regular everyday people. It is a deeply unpleasant adventure in that respect. But otherwise, I'm hoping it's got some pretty fucking gnarly imagery in it, and a general kind of creepy setup, and also like a fun. And the bit at the start, the start of the adventure, is probably really fun for most people. So it's kind of got everything that most people would really want out of an adventure. It gets really fun, and then it gets kind of icky and gross and horrible. Um, so that adventure, Bargaining with the Beast, is hopefully coming out in October, and I did an editing pass on it. Oh, there we go. I did get hit by one, just in the arm though, so that's fine. I got hit by one of these. Yeah, I did an editing pass on it yesterday. I almost got hit by another one. And yeah, I was pretty happy with the content that was in the adventure. The way I laid it out was really strange. I laid it out in a really cramped fashion where like I was like scared to end up with lots of art space, but what I ended up with was like so little art space that there'd be like almost none in this like 30-page book. It's not a particularly short adventure. The dungeon isn't huge. I think it has 10 rooms, I think. Though you can very easily path your way through the dungeon in a way where you only really see like 5 of them, just because of the way the dungeon kind of works. I may also restructure the dungeon in some capacity because it follows a kind of diamond structure where it kind of sort of widens out and then pinches in at the end, and I might change that. I'm not sure. I don't mind a more sort of curated dungeon experience, but also like it's a bit set piecey, and I may decide to tinker with it. But also like I don't have that much time to tinker with it either. Like realistically, if I'm gonna make any big sweeping changes to this dungeon, it needs to be done like this month at like the latest. So yeah, it's a bit of a like it's kind of in the air how I feel about that. But yeah, that hopefully I will be getting sort of properly stuck in on that like next week, I think. Maybe this weekend if I get a chance, but probably next week. I'm gonna be able to get stuck in on that. But just because like I have like this week I'm away Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm not going to be doing anything for any of those 3 days. Realistically, I might do a little bit on Thursday evening because I don't have a game that evening. But like it is unlikely I will be doing anything of substance that day. And if I do anything, it's going to be on this one-page adventure, most likely. Anyway, like I might set up like an affinity file for it and get a sort of visual design in place for it. I'm thinking I just did pale blue. I can't really do pale blue again, and I just did lilac. And that was the other one I was thinking. I'm not really sure what color scheme I'm going to do for this one. I'll work it out. Either way, I am. So I basically I have then a couple of weeks where I need to be getting stuff done for for NGC. Like I need like next week I have to order all of the books just to make sure that if they take 2 weeks to arrive, they will show up. Like next week, early next week, preferably, I need to make all of those orders. That is like next Monday or whenever it is. That is going to be what I spend all afternoon doing, is getting Rise of the Mole Men, atop the Dragon Summit, and hopefully, if it's 100% done by then, the Spire that Sinks set up on Mixam to order prints and have them, because the first time I ordered proofs or ordered books from Mixam, they arrived within a week, which is fantastic. That's great. That's exactly what I would want. But they say up to 2 weeks, and it's like, I need this shit like now. So yeah. So I have that. I think there's about 2 weeks in that period. I believe next week will be the 10th, and then I need to make the orders like this week. Shit. realistically, I need to make those orders. That's probably what I'm going to spend Thursday doing. I need to make those orders on Thursday. I keep thinking like, but no, I keep thinking I have a week more than I do, and I don't. The con is on the 22nd. I've got to make those orders like now. And the Spire that Sinks is like this close to being done. It's really, really close to being finished, but it also needs the most work. Like I've got to, I don't just have to like adapt my cover file, like I do with the other two adventures. Like converting them over to Mixam, the first one will take me an hour and a half, and the other one will take me 40 minutes, like once I do it the first time, I muddle my way through the process for the first time in a year, and the second one won't take that long. Spire that Sinks, I have to do all of it from scratch. I've got to make the fucking cover for drive-through first. That's like my priority, and then I've got to sort. I've got to sort the Lulu versions. That'll for RPG Trader, that'll only take about 30 minutes. That will not take any time at all. But like that's where I'm at with that right now. So bargaining with the beast is going to be my priority. Basically, as soon as NGC is over, that's like the top of my list. I will begin. I want to be able to get a finalized or a mostly finalized layout ready to give art stuff to AJ of like, this is the space on the page you have to work with this piece. This is where it's gonna go. Yeah, like that's where I'm at with that. I've got a very, very busy month this month, and then September, it's chilling out a little bit, and then October and November, it's gearing up for Dragon Meet, which is going to be even more intense because it's a much bigger con and way more expensive. Like if we do like kind of middlingly at NGC, I'm going to hit again, just lightly in the shoulder that time. If we do like kind of middlingly at NGC, it's not the end of the world. The actual expenses of going to NGC are not terribly high. It's like the total cost of going of like fully attending all expenses at NGC is like maybe £300, and recouping that cost is not challenging. Like it's not that bad. If we do middlingly at NGC, then we will break even, and that's fine. Like we just about broke even last year. And and that's kind of where we're at. We want to get to a point where we can build up from breaking even to making more. Dragon Meat is like, if we don't break even at Dragon Meat, that's like actually pretty catastrophic. Like just the cost of buying a table at Dragon Meat is like over £100, and then staying in London for even one night is that price again. Like, and that's before any equipment that we buy. Hopefully we won't need to buy. No, we probably will need to buy proofs of stuff, like, because the mistake I made when we first started going to cons is I bought, the first con we went to, I had Fathomless Bounty and Where Fire Lives, and we had nothing else. That was all we were selling with that I believe, that was at Diceni 2025. Yes, Diceni 2025, and that was all we had. And I bought 50 copies of both books for Diceni and for NGC. I still have, I don't even know how, I still have over half of both of those books. I massively overbought both of those books. And then, there is a wasp. It's left. Okay, all is well. It's left, I think. In either case, when I went to, buy stuff across the open threshold, I bought, I want to say about 25 copies, and we still have a good amount of that. I'm going to have to take inventory later and like double check exactly how much I have of each, because I do have it tucked away in my Tap Pay app. I don't remember what is the term for payment process. My payment processor, like the card reader that we have, like it has an app. So yeah, that's like where we're at with that. Like I bought like 25 of those, and then that was all we had at the time. Like Rise of the Mormon wasn't out at that point. Atop the Dragon Summit obviously came out this year. The Spire that Sinks is about to come out, and that should hopefully be there for NGC. I'm probably gonna buy 20 to 25 copies of each, because we have so many adventures. The likelihood of many of them selling many copies is very low, right? Like, so I'm probably going to buy 20 copies of each, also just for pricing reasons. If we start to sell out of books, then amazing. But oh god, bug, ugh, hate bugs. If we start to sell out of those, oh, bell, it's 3:00. If we start to sell out, this is the second. It happened last week as well. I got jump scared by a bug, and then immediately the fucking bell rang. It's the bell summons them, I swear. If we sell out, we'll have to obviously buy more. But Dragon Meat, I have no idea what kind of numbers we're gonna see. Like, the foot traffic at Dragon Meat is crazy, but also the con is gigantic. Like, there's I say gigantic. It is a mid-sized con, but on the upper end of mid-sized. If you've ever been to MCM London, it's this, as of last year, Dragon Meat is now at the same venue at the XL Arena in London, not far from Canary Wharf, I believe. That's a bug trying to land on my phone. And looking at, like, and you go to Comic-Con and those huge rooms. Comic-Con fills up like 4 or 5 of them, I think. Dragon Meat fills one of those rooms. So nowhere near the size of Comic-Con, but still reasonably sized. They have like talks upstairs. They have, people, it's place is fucking rammed all the time. They got all kinds of companies there selling all kinds of stuff. It is a pretty big con. It is the biggest. Oh my god, is the biggest TTRPG specific convention in the UK, I believe. Like UK Games Expo is many times larger. Me and AJ went there this year. It was an interesting experience. Like, it was but it is primarily board games and war games, and there's TTRPGs are like distinctly third place there. It's like war games, board games, TTRPGs in that order. From our experience being there, and it's also just like, it's so big that we would just be drowned. EGX. I think after we attended, I think for the foreseeable future, it would be unwise for us to spend that amount of money going to EGX. Is my opinion. But that may change. I don't know. We only have a few months to decide, because the tickets are soon. But yeah. Con stuff is stressful. Dragon Meat far more so, just because it involves London in any capacity, and that's always a nightmare. NGC, I'm looking forward to, in spite of it massively complicating my month. But yeah, I'm going to head off here because it's been like 30 minutes and I need to go home and do prep for my game tonight. And I have some other bits to do as well. I have some cards to write and things like that, like little things. And yeah, so I'm going to go do that. Hope folks have a good week. I am so ready to be away for it's not 3 full days, it's 1 full day. And then we have a hotel. We have like a beachside hotel for 2 nights, and I've needed this break. I was saying 2 months ago, I can't wait for this break. I need this break now, and it's here. And I'm like, I need a break so fucking bad, dude. I need a break so badly. But I'm gonna have one. And then I'm immediately going to be back, full tilt, going straight in on NGC. So hopefully people are having a less packed experience. I feel like I should be having a panic attack with the amount of stuff I'm having going on. Normally I am, but for some reason right now I feel like I'm faintly on top of everything, which is the first time I felt like that in a very long time, which is nice. Hope folks are having a decent week. I will hopefully be back with one of these that will be a lot shorter on Monday, because I won't have done as much, because I will have been on a break. I hope. But yeah, I'll speak to everybody next week.